Welcome to the Pigskin Party Podcast, the only podcast that combines real NFL analysis with a splash of pop culture and a dash of the random. Let's get this Pigskin Party started with your hosts, Brian McFadden, Will Southard, and Tommy Yu.
Welcome back to the PPP presented by Legit Football. It's time for the flavor of the week. My name is Brian. Please subscribe, tell a friend, so we can grow this Pigskin Party. Joining me as always, coming back off the main NFL episode, Big Willie Southard and Tommy Yu. What's up, guys?
How's it going, sir? How's it going?
No. Will's smiling big, and Tommy is like petrified that I made that reference.
I thought I had you on my side until this happened, but at the same time, now I'm at that moment of thinking, do I just embrace it, or do I try to continue to fight it? So I still don't know where to go yet.
So, Will, we just announced on the last episode about our upcoming fantasy leagues and how we'd be giving away your meme hats, and I see you are completely absent of a hat on your head at this moment, and I just see your McDonald's arch of a hairline. What's up?
That's rude. Yeah, I mean, at this point, Amazon is kind of running dry on cheap meme hats. They're actually kind of pricey, so I gotta find out where I can get some, because I can't have expensive meme hats. Like, that's not a thing. They have to be like $15 or less each. So we're gonna bring them back. It's just
you might need to expand. Maybe not meme hats. Maybe just some silly kids hats. You know, go to like one of those Halloween stores online and just order some sort of random thing to put on, like a wizard's hat or something from Harry Potter. You know, you got to get creative here, man. This is what the people want.
Thanks. I'll do that. I appreciate that. Yeah,
okay, welcome.
I'll pick up my game, buddy. I'll pick it up.
Tommy, how you feeling, man? You ready to keep going with this?
You know, I was kind of torn. I really loved the last show, Luke. You know, I've always been a fan of the Vikings, which is weird to say because I know a lot of Vikings fans hated the Eagles in 2017, and then the talks came out of Eagles fans throwing beers at Vikings fans. So there was a lot of bad blood, but I personally always loved the Vikings, I guess, before that game, because to me, the Vikings and the Eagles were kind of the same, except for the Vikings having, you know, a richer and better history of success. But for the most part, I was like, two great teams that never won a Super Bowl. We've gone through a lot of heartaches, but don't worry. I know Minnesota's gone through 30 billion times more heartaches than Eagles fans. So I understand that. I'm not trying to paint a picture saying, oh, poor Eagles fans. But to be fair, the passion of Eagles fans kind of magnifies everything. So anyway, that's not an excuse, but I always saw the Vikings as another NFC brother. Like, I shouldn't like any other NFC teams. I was like, yeah, I kind of like the Vikings. But then a lot of bad blood came up. Luke comes out here spitting straight fire, great information, and then, you know, of course, has to talk up Justin Jefferson. I'm just sitting here pouting and things. So I'm kind of torn. I loved it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, man, what it could have been. So, you know, still feeling pretty good, though.
Well, Tommy, as you know, we got our
2017 Eagles were so fun. I love those 2017
Everybody
Eagles.
except Patriots fans love those Eagles. So
Yeah.
we will always have that appreciation in our heart for seeing them knock off Belichick and the evil empire. Tommy, if you're feeling conflicted now, we got a Palate Cleanser coming up, man. It's you know how it goes. It's not going to get any better for you. Let's bring in our guest again, rejoining us from the main NFL episode, Mr. Luke Braun, who is the host of the Locked On Vikings podcast. Luke, are you ready for the Flavor of the Week episode, man? Sure. He's like, he has no idea what's coming. He has no idea what's coming. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I didn't see the script, but yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, that
at this
is
point,
what
I
we
refuse
like.
to read it.
Okay, good. No, you shouldn't at this point.
Now,
just flow with it, and that's what we tend to do on this particular episode anyways. We figure it out as we go. All right, so for those who have been listening and those who are new, we do never. See, I can't even talk. I'm surprised I called myself out on that instead of Will. We never go from a big, juicy, hearty, Devontae Smith trashing main NFL episode right into our Flavor of the Week, where we talk about some tangential NFL topic without first cleansing your palate. So the Palate Cleanser, once again, was suggested by Big Willie. Last week, he mentioned when we were talking about our superhero movie moment, we specifically referenced Heath Ledger and his performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight. Will suggested that we should talk about the most iconic fictional character portrayals in a movie. So, Will, I got to start with you on this, and you're welcome to just take the layup and say Heath, but who do you think is the most iconic character portrayal by an actor for a fictional character in a movie?
I mean, in terms of like, I think you have to look at it in a couple different ways, right? Like, are you talking about?
Oh wait,
like,
hold on.
is-
I aired again. Tommy, do you know what a fictional character is?
Yes, I had to look back at elementary school, and I was like, I remember we went to the library one time, and they pointed out the different sections, and they're like, Tommy, I know you're going through ESL right now, but fictional means fake.
ESL.
Nonfiction.
I shouldn't laugh. The poor guy's learning English, and I'm laughing at him. Sorry.
But I at least knew that part, so I was super happy. But like I said, leading into this kind of topic, because of the last show, Will kind of painting up like the really good situation, what we're going to be talking about, it had me thinking about it, so I am actually prepared with an answer this time.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pretty excited for it.
Wait, you got to start though.
Boy.
You got to kick it off.
Okay, all
So
right,
all
Tommy,
I'm
you
gonna
hyped us up. Let us know. You actually have a
low-hanging-
contribution.
The low-hanging fruit is Heath Ledger, but I didn't pick Heath Ledger as the Joker because I thought someone else would cover it, because if not, that's a crime against all humanity. So I wanted to pivot, and this might sound like a joke, but I'm being honest, and I'll try to keep mine short even though I tend to ramble. So my entire life, I thought Johnny Depp was a terrible actor and someone that just got off, made terrible movies, but for some reason everyone's like, no, he's amazing. I'm like, yo, I watch not a lot of his movies.
He was good in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. That's like the one early movie.
Yeah, so like I look at some movies, I'm like, I guess that's his niche, like kind of cool, and I guess like middle-aged women think he's like super hot. Like I get it, like that's cool. Fill your niche, man. Do your thing. But I would be remiss, even though it sounds like a meme. Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay, hold on. It might sound weird because we're just so used to it. Because when did Pirates come out? Like 2003 was such a long time ago. But that character is so iconic to the point now he's just so embedded in our culture. But when he first came on, with his dreadlocks, golden tooth, all his rings, the weird way he would walk drunk and stuff. The whole reason Pirates has like 43 movies kind of catching up to Fast and Furious is because of Johnny Depp and his portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow. And I know this is a terrible barometer. Oh, wow, I said that word weird. But
wow.
This is a
He's
horrible
ESL.
barometer.
It's okay. He's ESL.
Yeah, that's true. No, this is a bad barometer to say, oh, this is how iconic a person is. But I mean, with Heath Ledger, when that movie came out, literally during Halloween, everyone was the Joker. Like, everyone was the Heath Ledger Joker. And even till this day, I feel like if you were to still go out to college campuses or whatever, they have Halloween parties nowadays, because, I'm hip, I feel like you would still see some pirates, like Captain Jack Sparrow type of pirates. And I mean, so it transcends for how old it is. So this is my long-winded way of saying, it might sound like a meme, but yo, Captain Jack Sparrow, he's pretty dope.
Number one, he was one of
Maybe I'll
my
go with that.
choices. So if nobody mentioned him, I was going to bring him. So Tommy, yes, congratulations. Palate Cleanser contributed. It contributed
Good
well.
answer.
And I mean, Disney, the ride that the Pirates of the Caribbean is based on, they integrated Captain Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp, into the ride itself. That's when you know the portrayal is iconic. So Tommy, you nailed this one. Good job. Will, now you've had time to think, because I know you don't normally prepare. So most iconic fictional character portrayed by an actor in a movie.
Well, see, this is what I'm gonna, this is what I'm saying is like what I was starting to say anyway is that I think there's a difference in like the quality of acting job that you do, and like the iconism, that's not a word, of the character that you're portraying, right? Like, because I think if we were gonna look at like who did the best acting like job, like the method acting kind of deal, I think you have to go with Heath Ledger, right? But when you think of like iconic villains and all that kind of stuff that goes into there, I'm just gonna go kind of crazy a little bit. And I don't know if this is all in cinematic history, but who would have been a better Deadpool than Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, he was on my list
That's
too.
a phenomenal pick.
I like, and it's a good pick because Luke made a half frown when I said
Yeah,
that.
I love
When
it.
he's like, "You're not," I kind of want to disagree
that's
with
great.
you, but at the same time, like, I can see it.
Didn't technically Deadpool
How do you feel
pick
about that,
himself,
Luke?
according to
Yeah,
the lore?
he was like obsessed with it
Yes.
for years and years and years.
Yeah, technically, which makes it even
Right.
more lore. But Will, oh my god, that is such a good pick. Holy smokes!
I know. That's why I did it.
Yeah, same thing. Like I said,
Luke, you gotta have one. Luke.
I have two,
Even though
one
for
of
it.
which I'm surprised wasn't brought up yet.
wow.
well, I haven't
can't
gone,
believe
but go ahead.
Oh,
I go last.
well, maybe I'll take one. Maybe I'll take one from you.
Let's see.
Marlon Brando's Godfather. Of course. A bit more of a basic answer, right? That's the number one on every
yes,
thing,
that movie I have seen. The Godfather.
But
yes.
This is the part where our guest finds out that Tommy has seen like 5 movies his entire life.
I went to film school. I
have actually never seen The Godfather. I have, like, funny enough, I love the mob and all of that history. I have never seen the Godfather movies. So I feel like
you don't have to see 3, but at least see the first 2.
Fair enough.
All right, so yeah, I agree. He was on my just, let's say, the honorable mention, Marlon Brando. What's your second one, Luke?
So, but in terms of like iconicness and somebody that has worked that character's performance into the public lexicon, name me a character that has put more quotes and phrases and ideas into the public lexicon than Forrest Gump.
Oh, that was my number 1. Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah. Life is like a box of chocolates,
but
Run, Forrest, Run, all that stuff is so ubiquitous in everybody's mind that it has transcended needing to have seen the movie to know what it is.
Yeah, but so here's my argument against that. Couldn't you see other people playing that role? Like
Tom Hanks
feel like
is
that
Forrest
other people
Gump.
could have played Forrest Gump. Correct, because he was. But I mean, I feel like you could have made that movie with a different actor, and it probably would have
By
been
that same
really hard
logic,
for
you
me
can't
to
say.
Yeah, really hard for me to be like, this guy would have been a better actor than Tom Hanks.
That's like you can't
Fair
use
enough.
the same argument for
Fair
Heath
enough.
Ledger because other actors have played the Joker.
Yeah.
So you
and not as well. And
Nicholson,
not as well. Right?
Not as well as Heath, but I mean
Keep
that's
Mark Hamill's name out of your mouth.
Oh, there you go. Talking about the animated voice.
I mean, there's a lot of you could argue Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford, right? There's that kind of stuff. You can't argue anybody that played Bond, right? Because there's
Sean Connery is the ultimate Bond.
Superheroes, so I feel like one of the few superhero movies I've seen, like Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man, right?
That was my last one. You guys are stealing.
No, I'm sorry. Oh God.
Yes. And Tommy, you haven't even seen the MCU movies.
He was it.
Have you? You can't.
He's so cool.
There's actually
cool.
There's actually a word for when they would not recast your character that you're seen as that iconic, and the context in which I don't remember the exact word, but it's a Hollywood word. And when first time I ever heard of that word was in reference to Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Right? Because, I mean, Spider-Man, they've recast that. I mean, most people identify with Tom Holland, but, like, Iron Man? There can't
Tobey
be.
Maguire was the one everyone identified for a long time, too. Andrew Garfield never
Jesus,
was.
Yeah,
but...
how old am I?
Yeah, so I was going to mention Iron Man. I mean, Forrest Gump was my top. That's just about as an iconic performance as you get. Marlon Brando was in consideration. As I said, Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, and we could say keep the...
Vin Diesel is Dominic Toretto.
Although, hey,
No,
our F9 episode that you guys did while I was out was a very popular episode. So there's a lot of our listeners apparently who like Fast and Furious. So I won't downplay that. But I will throw. Here's one that I was considering, and I'm glad I have at least one left. And Tommy, little disappointed that you didn't mention this, and that is Sylvester Stallone as Philadelphia hero Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right. So I mean that's yet another. I mean nobody even thought about rebooting that or recasting that role because Sylvester Stallone is Rocky Balboa.
Not only is he the whole embodiment,
the guy's got a statue
in Philly and has the statue. I mean, that's how he made his career. Like he wrote the whole thing. Like just his fingerprint in Philadelphia is unbelievable. So as you guys keep saying other answers out of what I said, I kept down. I was like, yep, this is why I need to hang out with all of you guys so you guys could breathe pop culture into my life. So you guys are the experts for sure, making me look like an amateur on here, but hey, I'm loving it.
But and you know what I'm going to ask next, Tommy? And we cannot help you with your pop culture lack of preparedness if you don't actually watch the movies we suggest to you. Have you watched Ace Ventura?
Like a half. I'm going to say half.
That's not
yes.
big enough of a movie, though.
Half, yes?
Yes, because I looked at where I could find it, right? The other day I was actually looking it up. But no, hold on. There's a little bit more. Then when I found out I couldn't find it like conveniently. Like I could probably find it if I looked hard enough. I went on YouTube and just started looking up a bunch of Dan Marino clips of him, and he's pretty great in it. So I've watched a good amount, I feel like, just passively through YouTube. Similar like Will, now a bunch of Ace Ventura stuff comes up, and I'm just like, oh, dang it, I just messed up the whole algorithm. So I'm kind of there. So like I get references now, so I feel like that's all I kind of need to know, right?
You're getting closer, inching closer.
Did I tell you the story about so in Ace Ventura 2, there's a scene where he's trying to mate with this African princess, and
you have told this, but say it again.
And she takes off her shirt. Yeah, and he looks over and he's like, "Those are very nice, but I'm a child of light, a pure spirit. I'm no longer tempted by the sins of the flesh." And I clipped that video and I send that to all the porn stars that post nudes on Twitter, and half of them find it funny and half of them block me. But I think it's hilarious, so I'm gonna keep doing it. That's like an iconic clip when they try to be all sexy on the Twitter. Just
so
give that to them and see what they say.
Who plays Will Southard in the memoir of Big Willie Southard?
I feel like it's got to be
yeah.
Ryan
The physical resemblance is
he's probably
uncanny,
one of my
for sure.
favorite actors of all time. It really is. I mean, we have the same abs.
We'll go with that, a coding. So we do at least want to give a little bit of attention to Heath Ledger, because anytime you play a character where every single character after that, or actor that plays that character, is inevitably compared unfavorably, you know that you're have an iconic performance. And yes, people played the Joker before him. People have played the Joker after him. But no matter what, they'll always be compared to Heath Ledger. I'm feeling cleansed. Tommy, Will, how you guys feeling?
I feel cleansed. I feel like Luke feels a little confused, but he's gonna keep
hey,
going.
Hey, Luke didn't read anything. You're gonna roll with this crazy party. You gotta,
I prepared nothing.
And that's fine. But you know what? He had answers. He went right in. Welcome to the Pigskin Party podcast. All right, so let's keep on moving. Our flavor of the week topic is presented by Legit Football. Legit Football, the top 5 NFL stories of the day, delivered to your inbox each morning for free. Go to legitfootball.com and subscribe, and I'll put a link in the episode description. So,
you know the amazing thing about Legit Football? It is the first show sponsor in the history of sponsorships that Brian actually paid.
What does that even mean? We've never had another sponsor. That makes zero sense.
you paid them to tell them that they sponsor our show.
You know what? You're on this show too, my friend. So
that's a joke.
You got to ride with whatever happens. All right. So our writer Ross Crawford, I think it was 2 weeks ago, wrote his predictions for the top 10 offenses for 2021. We broke them down on the Flavor of the Week episode 2 weeks ago, and he just released the top 10 predictions for defenses in 2021, which is a much harder exercise. Historically speaking, offenses tend to stay fairly consistent as long as the personnel stays the same year to year, whereas defensive statistics and defensive success, much more volatile. But nevertheless, he put together a top 10 list. So what I'm going to do, as I did with the top 10 offenses, is I will go down, read the list from 10 all the way down to 1, and then we will go around the horn. I want to get your thoughts on the list itself, what he got right, what he didn't got right, and perhaps some teams you think should be on here and some teams that maybe shouldn't be.
What he didn't got right.
What he didn't got right. Can always rely on Will to point out my flubs on the show. All right, so starting at number 10, we have the New Orleans Saints. At number 9, my Miami Dolphins. Ross, you might have put them on there just for my sake, but still, I appreciate it. Number 8, the Indianapolis Colts. Number 7, the Denver Broncos. At number 6, Baltimore Ravens. Staying in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers. At number 5, the New England Patriots. At number 4, the Los Angeles Rams. At number 3, who was the top defense in 2020. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl winners, and Will's obsession at number 2. And then the Washington football team, Will's obsession for 2021, sits at number 1. So I want to start with our guest, Luke. You just were introduced to this list a few minutes ago. You heard me read through it. Just at first glance, is there anything that stands out to you as a hit or a miss?
Top end seems good. The Washington being number 1, I can see the argument there. Bucks up there too, of course. I think you're gonna I think Miami should be higher. I think they're a little underrated. They got a lot of players who are good, but like that just are kind of not heard of. And that's
it's very Belichick-like. It's very much like the Patriots' defenses.
A lot of players who are going to quietly play well, and I think Brian Flores gets him whipped into a frenzy pretty good. I mean, I'm going to sound like a homer, but I'm also right, so don't boo me. The Vikings should be up there. They should easily top 10. I know they were sucky in 2020, but it's a whole different group of people. Half of those guys are Texans, or they play for like the Alouettes now.
Well, half of the free agents that from this past offseason are Texans too, so that's not saying.
Yeah, true. But yeah, like who is number 10? I feel like the Saints. Saints are going to fall apart. They don't have any corners outside of Marshawn Lattimore. Anybody with more than 2 wide receivers is going to have a real
steep decline since his rookie year too. I feel like a lot of people hold his name into like a pedestal because he won Rookie of the Year and he was phenomenal. But since then, I'm not saying he's bad, but he has been on a steep decline.
That was Marcus
Williams.
Diggs burns everyone.
Safety.
Wasn't that was it Williams?
Yeah. Lattimore was on the other side of the field.
You know the catch that I'm talking about, though.
I think Kenny Crawford was the one who ran into Williams whiffed on Diggs and then ran into Crawford. That's what it is.
Did you have to? I mean, watching that as a Viking,
I was there.
Did you have to just like?
I was in
take a timeout.
Yeah, I was in the stands for that one. I lost.
What?
I blacked out. I don't remember it.
That's tough.
Did you rip?
I was so excited.
I can't even imagine how fun it would be in the stadium and having that happen.
Oh
for,
yeah,
like, the team
and
that
like
you just
that,
go crazy
like
about.
that never happens to the Vikings. Like the Vikings don't even have even before the Eagles won theirs, they still had like the Miracle at the Meadowlands kind of stuff, right? Like Deshaun Jackson. The Vikings don't have those. They had a couple of maybe interesting, kind of cool regular season wins where someone kicked an overtime field goal, but otherwise, all of their like big successes weren't really like clutch, close, really awesome games. They were like, oh wow, they won that game and that was really good, but it was 23-31 or whatever. It wasn't like a huge. That was like a big iconic moment, and God, we all just freaked out and pushed each other around and stuff. And then I came to and we were walking out of the stadium, and I like just washed over me.
I feel like you know how like NFL players, right? Like even if you're in college, right? And say you're a running back and you just break into the open field and it's just you and like 70 yards of green grass and you have the
Daniel
kind
Jones
of speed to do that. Like not like me, like I would, or Daniel Jones, right? But think about that. You break out an open run. It's just you and field. 80,000 people are just dying over what my heart would explode, bro. Like Tommy, do you think you could handle that? Just running, you got the ball, like.
Oh no!
What do you think that would?
Like,
I can't even imagine that
in my life.
I know that's not what we're talking
through
about.
High school and some collegiately, but absolutely not. No way. Like people joke about Daniel Jones falling and things like that, but if I'm in his situation, I know I'm doing something awesome, and people are screaming so loud to the point I bet my helmet is shaking in my head and vibrating just due to the decibels, and I'm running, and I know I'm the cause of that. I might black out and just be like, "Yo, did he just trip? Oh, he's not getting up. Yo, we need a medic out here. What happened? Oh, he just passed out. Like, that's literally what would happen.
All right, well, let's go to you now, Tommy. We'll get it back on track here. What stands out about Ross's list for top 10 defenses?
Yeah, I am going to have to agree. I feel like, Brian, I've been a little too nice to you, even though you've been pushing the you, and sometimes you also like, haha, the Devonta Smith takes are kind of funny, but I would be remiss.
They are funny. I don't agree with them, but they are funny.
No, they are funny.
I would be remiss to say I do feel like the Dolphins are a little bit high, low, depending. I feel like I would have them closer to the top 5 than out of the top 5 kind of thing, only because, Xavier Howard, as long as he's still on the roster, he's going to be solid. He's going to be paired up with Byron Jones and things like that. And, we all know that Brian Flores is like a defensive guru, so they're probably going to still have that blitz-heavy defense and things. With Jalen Phillips now on the edge, their only real, I guess, flaw was the fact that they had an under 10% of the quarterback knockdown rate from 2020, so that should definitely climb with him coming off the edge. But some big snubs, unfortunately. Sorry, Luke, I am not going to say the Vikings, but that's not because I don't believe in their defense. I think they will significantly improve. But for me, the biggest head scratcher, and I feel like I've been beating this drum on this podcast a little bit, is the Cleveland Browns. I feel like they have a great defense, and what did they do this offseason? They went and signed Troy Hill, John Johnson, Jadeveon Clowney, and then in the draft, the first 2 rounds, they kind of reloaded again, took more defensive talent, and Greg Newsome the second, and then Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the second round. I probably butchered his last name. So with all this fast talent, the way that their offense looks being run heavy, control the clock, defenses love that. And the last team that I just kind of want to throw in there before I throw it over to Big Willie, or you, Brian, of course, is I feel like the San Francisco 49ers defense is going to not surprise a lot of people, but I feel like they should definitely be in the top 10 with Nick Bosa returning, one of the best edge rushers and things like that. Fred Warner is one of the best off-ball linebackers in the league. The main concern of the 49ers is definitely their secondary, so I'm not blind to that. But I feel like just the way that Shanahan runs that offense, it should complement that defense very well. And it was, only 2 years ago when that defense was one of the most feared in the NFL, I guess. So I don't think it's a stretch to say, hey, hopefully with Nick Bosa coming back and, maybe the injury bug not decimating that team like they usually do, like they do to the Chargers and things like that, I expect them to at least be pretty close to the top 10 as well.
How about you, Will? What are your thoughts on the top 10 defenses by Ross?
I just don't see the Patriots at number 4. Gilmore didn't have a great year, and his argument is that Dante Hightower will be back, and Belichick doesn't like being called soft and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't see him returning to form because they just don't. I don't think they have a good rallying point anymore, around Brady and around really good momentum. I feel like, with Edelman gone, he was kind of the heart and soul of that team. So I think they're a little too high. I definitely agree with a lot too high, actually. I agree with all the rest of the takes. I agree that, the Dolphins should be a little higher. Indy kind of fell apart last year on defense towards the end of the year, and you kind of wonder about that kind of going forward. So, just my thoughts, but I definitely think they got number 1 and 2 correct. You can argue about the order of 1 and 2, but Washington's going to be a 4.
Yeah, I had the Browns with the one of the teams that I really felt should be in here. Not that Clowney is a big sack machine, but he actually gets overlooked as someone who causes consistent disruption, especially in the run game. So being able, and that was one of the things with, Cleveland did have trouble stopping the run from times last season. So adding him on, I think, is a huge get. They revamped their secondary, Josh Johnson and Hill, as Tommy mentioned, both from the Rams. And the fact that they're going to play that ball control, play action offense by Kevin Stefanski, I definitely want to see them in here. Also the Chargers. I think Brandon Staley, a defensive-minded coach, Derwin James, if he comes back and can stay healthy, Joey Bosa, you got a team that was already in a solid defense, and as long as they can stay healthy, they got a crazy division they're playing in. They're going to have to go up against Mahomes twice a year, maybe Aaron Rodgers if he's on the Broncos. The Raiders are known to put up some points, but I just see if that defense stays. They got Chris Harris at cornerback. They drafted Asante Samuel Jr. I thought that was a great pick. They've got a lot of pieces in place. As far as teams that I would maybe bump them for, I'm going to agree with Luke on the Saints. I'm not saying they're going to be a bottom 20, but I could see them falling out as a top 10, especially in that secondary. And I'm kind of thinking the Colts, too. I think the Colts are very well coached. They don't have a lot of top-end talent. DeForest Buckner obviously is a fantastic get. Darius Leonard is an all-pro linebacker. But I could see them being more like top 12. So, once again, though, Ross, we're nitpicking here. You did a great job with this list.
Eagles should also have a top 10 defense. Oh, Brian, that's a great take. That's fantastic. I agree with
Tommy,
you.
why don't you expand on my apparent Eagles take that sounded exactly like me?
No,
you can't even. You can't even defend it.
We're going to be awful, and it's going to be awesome.
I agree at the top. I think I would have put football team there. This is the year of the football team, according to Will, and I can't really dispute that. Yeah. Any other quick thoughts, additional comments when it comes to Ross's list here?
Steelers are going to fall apart, mark my words.
On defense, though? I agree on offense. Okay.
They're old.
They did lose Bud Dupree. I still think T.J. Watt is T.J. Watt, but they lost somebody in the secondary, too. I can't remember his name.
they getting a year older for the Steelers and running it back, I think, is the biological clock's a ticking.
Good.
I think
And
kind of
They can still be a top half
I think
defense.
They think their window is bigger than it actually is.
they don't have a window with Big Ben at quarterback, personally.
Oh, they think they do.
Yeah, well, they don't have one without him either. I think they just kind of have to
True.
run this back as much as they can. Oh, yeah, for sure. But
With the
I just
current
don't believe in the
quarterbacks,
Steelers at all.
Dwayne Haskins certainly is not the answer, nor Mason Rudolph. So, yeah, I mean, I guess Big Ben is the best they have.
Jesus.
I won't spend too much on the Dolphins. You guys all kind of said it. I'll sound like a homer if I say too much. But I'm a big believer in Flores. I think he runs such a similar system to Belichick as far as having back to front. I've said that on this podcast before. Having a strong secondary, having a lot of no-name, just versatile bit players who are productive, who maybe not get 15 sacks, but they work together well as a unit, and those defense just seem to play above their talent. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Any other? We can wrap this up. We can have a short flavor of the week episode. Any other comments on Ross's list?
I mean, I think you could talk about, it's not in his list, but like what, the Cardinals, what is the impact? I mean, that was the biggest news of the offseason. What impact is J.J. Watt going to have on the Cardinals defense? Is it meaningful? Is it just okay? Is it as big as everyone thought it was going to be kind of when he did it? I don't know. I'm not
Well,
so
he
sure.
definitely doesn't have what he
Not so sure
had.
JJ
I still think
has
he
what
can make an impact.
What he had.
It's more on the Chandler Jones side. Jones is reportedly unhappy and is looking to perhaps get a new contract. If he holds out or if he doesn't play up to his ability on the other side, that becomes an issue. But what J.J. Watt can do is he can divert some attention so they're not putting too much pressure on Chandler Jones. Their linebackers are big questions in Arizona. So that's my biggest question. I don't think nobody thinks J.J. Watt is going to be a sack leader or even like a maybe not even a double-digit sack procurer, but he certainly upgrades that defensive line. All right. Well, I think we're good. We'll keep it short and sweet this week.
Right.
I want to thank my guest, Luke Braun. Thanks for sticking around, even though you had no idea what we were going to talk about, but I love that you were game for it. Make sure to check out Luke on the Locked On Vikings podcast. Big Willie, Tommy, thanks as always, guys. Any last comments for the listeners before we sign off?
Yeah, I feel like for those listeners who want to do like a fun little bet with me that regards Devonta Smith, I am game. I am willing to put the money to where my mouth is. Wow, I'm really butchering words today. But all I'm saying is it's not going to be something crazy like, all right, let's have a bet. Who's going to have a better season, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith? No, I am not going to go that crazy. Not at all. But within reason, I just wanted to be on here. I already planted my flag, said this is what I'm going to die on. Let's see what happens. This should be fun.
All right, well, Anthony is all over the drops. It is, but it's beautiful. So another quick mention. We mentioned on our main NFL episode, we will be running 2 DFS fantasy football leagues, one that runs weekly with a new prize each week. We'll hopefully have enough hats to at least fill a 17-week season. We will also have a season-long DFS league. We are working on the details now, but if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to us at pigskinpartypodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Twitter at official PP Pod. You can watch this on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Don't forget to check out Legit Football, who apparently I paid to be our sponsor, according to Will. LegitFootball.com. That's the top 5 NFL news of the day for free. You can see the link in the episode description, as well as the link to our Discord community. Thanks, as always, for listening. We'll see you next week on the PPP.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Pigskin Party Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort. We'll catch you in the next Pigskin Party.